Welcome to Stirling. Today we're going to explore the city to discover the best things to see and do, and to learn about the history of this famous medieval stronghold. If you're planning to visit or just want to explore this historic city, you're in for a real treat. So, let's begin. The brown store up ahead on the right is Janna's bakery. It's famous for its incredible homemade treats, especially the cinnamon rolls and carrot cake. It's a cozy, dog-friendly spot with warm, genuine hospitality. Their variety of food, from the Mediterranean breakfasts to the savoury spinach pies, make it well worth the visit. Up ahead on the right, across the street, is the Port Customs Bar. It's a classic, no-frills Scottish wet pub. Think wooden floors and a great local atmosphere, rather than a food menu. What's really surprising is their gin selection. They serve premium Scottish gins in proper crystal glassware with fresh garnishes, and it's actually affordable. It's the kind of place where there's no loud music or Wi-Fi, so it's perfect if you just want a well-kept pint and a good chat. Stirling is easy to reach by public transport. You can take a train from Glasgow in around 30 minutes, or from Edinburgh in around 50 minutes. As we walk down Port Street, we're actually walking the line of the old city defences. This was the main gateway into Stirling for centuries. Today, it's the heart of our shopping district, but back then, you couldn't even enter this street without paying a tax at the city gate. In Scotland, it's said that we can get 4 seasons in one day. Soon, in this tour, we'll see some sunshine. In summer, Scotland can get good periods of warm, sunny weather, although wind and rain is not uncommon. The best strategy is to pack layers. A light waterproof rain jacket is a great choice, along with other layers depending on the temperature. Bring a backpack when out and about to store layers away as needed. Now let's enjoy some sunshine as we make our way onto King Street. In Scotland, tipping is appreciated but not mandatory. In restaurants, a 10% to 12.5% tip is standard. On our left is Chester's Coffee House. It's a popular spot known for its exceptional coffee, with lattes often served in colourful ceramic pottery. Its reasonably priced menu features a wide range of hearty options, from breakfast rolls with black pudding to thick-cut sandwiches and cakes. In medieval times, King Street was known as High Gate. It was part of the route that led up to the marketplace and Stirling Castle, and also the route that led to the Highlands. Up ahead on the right is the Golden Lion Hotel. You can see the Golden Lion above the doorway. It was originally built as Wingate's Inn in 1786. Scotland's famous poet Robert Burns stayed at the inn in 1787. The coat of arms for Stirling has a wolf on it. This is because the howling of a wolf alerted the city guards of a Viking raid over 1,000 years ago and allowed the people of Stirling to defend themselves. In the 1700s, King Street was known as Quality Street. At this time, Stirling had a strong economy and traded with many European countries, including Norway, with which it had a significant timber trade. For a high-quality Italian lunch, Café Pompei on our left is hard to beat, serving up everything from homemade meatballs to standout pastries. The atmosphere is welcoming and friendly, making it a favourite for families and anyone with specific dietary restrictions. This is the Athenaeum. It was built in 1816 on the former site of the town's old meal market, which had been demolished 2 years prior. The ground level was designed for shops, while the upper floors housed an assembly room, a library, and a reading room. On our right is Made in Stirling. It's a vibrant, community-focused hub located in a spacious gallery setting that showcases an incredible variety of unique, handmade gifts from local artists. The atmosphere is welcoming and fun, and they have a dog-friendly policy. If you're planning to explore rural areas by car, you'll likely encounter narrow, single-track roads. These roads are designed to be shared safely using designated passing places, where one driver pulls into the space at the side of the road to allow others through. If you're looking for a classic Stirling pub experience, number 2 Baker Street is a great choice for hearty traditional dishes like their highly rated steak pie or Cullen skink. It's known for being excellent value with very generous portions, though the real draw is the cosy, buzzing atmosphere and the live music on weekends. The staff are famously friendly and happy to recommend a local ale, making it a welcoming spot for a pint. Just keep in mind it can get quite lively when the bands are playing. We're now entering Baker Street. Historically, the street was known as Baxter's Street, with its name taken from the Old Scots word for baker. In medieval Stirling, baking was recognised as one of the 7 incorporated trades. These trades were highly organised and tightly regulated, requiring young men to complete a rigorous 5-year apprenticeship. Beyond their daily work, the trades were vital to the town's defence and social welfare. They marched to battle fully armed, united under their own distinct trade banners. Up here on our left is Colessio Hotel. We'll take a closer look in a moment, but first, let's quickly pass through this public garden space. Up ahead is Colessio Hotel. It has an excellent central location, situated just a short walk from Stirling Castle. Housed in a charming boutique building, many guests have enjoyed spacious rooms with comfortable beds and pristine bathrooms. Some guests have noted that certain areas still feel a bit dated. The Stirling Highland Hotel is highly regarded for its fantastic central location, situated just a short walk from Stirling Castle and the city's historic landmarks. This 19th century Victorian building offers a unique historic charm. The hotel features excellent leisure facilities and is widely praised for its warm, friendly staff and delicious breakfast offerings. While the building's character is a major draw, some guests have reported that certain rooms feel a bit dated or in need of refurbishment. Spittal Street and Baker Street used to be one single massive open thoroughfare. Back then it served as the grand main entrance leading straight up to the castle and the primary road north toward the Highlands. As Stirling's population grew and more people wanted to live and trade near the royal court, new houses and shops were built right in the middle of that wide space. This eventually squeezed the area into the 2 distinct streets you see now. Spittle Street is named after Robert Spittle. He was essentially the celebrity fashion designer of the 1500s. By 1509, Spittle had landed the ultimate job as the royal tailor to King James IV and Queen Margaret. Now, Queen Margaret was a massive fan of new trends and high fashion, which meant Spittle was kept incredibly busy. He eventually built up a huge personal fortune just from dressing the royal court. But what really made him a local legend was his generosity. He used his wealth to fund all sorts of charitable causes across Stirling. Most notably, he paid for the construction of 3 vital stone bridges at Doon, Bannockburn and Tullibody. In an age where travel was difficult, these bridges were a life-changing gift to the community. This monument is dedicated to Ebenezer Erskine. He was an 18th century minister who campaigned for the rights of church members to choose their own leaders, rather than having them appointed by wealthy landowners. He delivered powerful sermons that drew massive audiences of thousands to hear him speak in the open air. He sparked a movement for religious independence that eventually reached as far as America. Here on the left we have the Old Town Jail. It's a striking Victorian building from 1847. It actually sat empty from the 1960s until it was finally reopened as a major visitor attraction in 2015. Today you can step inside to explore the original prison cells and even climb to the very top of the observation tower for some incredible views. Every 30 minutes, costumed guides lead tours where they share fascinating local history and plenty of gruesome tales about the prisoners, punishments and executions that took place here. If you're looking to visit, tickets are £14 for adults and £8 for children. It's a fantastic way to see a darker side of Stirling's past while you're exploring the area. Outside the grounds of the Old Town Jail and down the street ahead, you'll find two historic parts of medieval Stirling: the Tollbooth and the Market Cross. The original Tollbooth building is thought to have been built in the 1400s, but the one standing today was built in 1703. The Tollbooth was the heart of the borough, housing the council, courts, and a notorious jail. Beside it, the Market Cross, a Scots word for market, served as a vital hub for trade and royal proclamations. Just a short walk from Stirling Castle, you'll find the Church of the Holy Rood, which is easily one of the most historically significant buildings in the city. It was originally founded way back in 1129, making it the second oldest structure in Stirling, right after the castle itself. It's widely considered one of the finest examples of medieval architecture in all of Scotland, and it holds a truly unique place in British history. In fact, it's reputed to be the only surviving church in the United Kingdom, other than Westminster Abbey, to have hosted a royal coronation. The beautiful building you see today was actually built in two phases, after the original church was destroyed by a fire in the early 15th century. The first part of that massive rebuilding project took place between 1456 and 1470, which is when the nave and the lower half of the bell tower were constructed. One of the most incredible things to look out for inside is the original medieval oak roof from that period. It's still surviving today and was built using a remarkable piece of craftsmanship. The entire roof is held together with wooden pins rather than a single iron nail. The Church of the Holy Rood reached its architectural peak between 1507 and 1555, when the bell tower was raised and the choir completed. It holds a rare distinction in British history as the site of the 1567 coronation of the infant King James VI, where the famous reformer John Knox preached the sermon. Knox had a long history with the building, having previously led the movement to strip the interior of its medieval Catholic icons during the Reformation. Later, in 1656, a bitter dispute between the town council and the minister, James Guthrie, led to a brick wall being built straight through the centre. This physical divide lasted for nearly 300 years. The building even carries scars from the 1651 siege of Stirling, with musket marks still etched into the tower and gravestones from when Cromwell's forces used the church for cover. If you're visiting Scotland, try to withdraw cash from free-to-use bank ATMs in larger towns and cities, as machines in airports or very remote villages may charge fees and offer poor exchange rates. Housed in a 1780s building just steps from Stirling Castle, the portcullis offers a blend of historic charm and traditional hospitality. The restaurant is famous for its generous portions of pub classics like steak pie and haddock, providing excellent value despite its prime tourist location. While the hotel is praised for its friendly management and scenic views, the steep hillside climb and lack of an elevator are important considerations for visitors. Because it is a popular spot with limited seating, booking a table in advance is highly recommended. We're now reaching the Stirling Castle Esplanade, but we'll take a quick look at the view overlooking the church and graveyard. Some of the graves have a distinctive reverse 4 symbol. This marked the graves of Stirling's merchants and is a symbol that is still used today as the official sign of the Stirling Gildry. On our right is the Star Pyramid, or the Martyrs' Monument. Built in 1863, this sandstone pyramid was commissioned as a tribute to those who suffered and died for religious liberty in Scotland. We're now heading towards Stirling Castle, but we'll learn about some Scottish history and famous people along the way. The Battle of Stirling Bridge in September 1297 stands as William Wallace's greatest military triumph, where he and his co-commander, Andrew Moray, intercepted a significantly larger and more heavily armed English force. Wallace positioned his lightly armed spearmen on the Abbey Craig, a hill overlooking the River Forth and its narrow wooden bridge, famously dismissing English envoys by stating they were there to defend and liberate their kingdom rather than make peace. He then executed a brilliant trap, waiting patiently as the English vanguard crossed the bridge, just two abreast, before unleashing his troops to cut off the crossing and pin the English against the river. The resulting victory saw the English vanguard annihilated and the hated treasurer Hugh Cressingham killed, allowing Wallace to seize Stirling Castle and formally notify European traders that Scotland was once again open for business. Robert the Bruce's connection to Stirling was long and complex, beginning in 1304 when he actually aided the English during their successful siege of the castle. During his time as joint guardian of Scotland, the Stirling area served as a frequent and often tense meeting point for Bruce and his rival, John Comyn. However, his most famous association began in 1313, when his brother made a high-stakes pact with the English commander of Stirling Castle, agreeing the fortress would surrender if not relieved by midsummer the following year. This forced Bruce into the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, where he famously killed the knight Henry de Bourne in single combat before using disciplined spearmen to rout the larger English army. Following his victory, Bruce took the tactical step of dismantling the castle to ensure the English could never occupy it again. This memorial is a poignant tribute to the 1st Battalion of the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. What makes this piece particularly moving is that it was funded and erected by the soldiers themselves, officers and men alike, to honour their friends and comrades. It commemorates those who lost their lives during the South African War, also known as the Second Boer War, between 1899 and 1902. Over a century later, it stands as a lasting symbol of regimental loyalty and the deep bonds formed through shared sacrifice in service to their country. Perched high upon an ancient extinct volcano, Stirling Castle commands the landscape like no other fortress in Scotland. This rugged crag rises sharply above the surrounding flatlands, offering panoramic views that reveal why the site was long known as the gateway to the Highlands. Historically, the castle overlooked the lowest crossing point of the River Forth. Because it controlled this vital bottleneck between the lowlands and the north, it gave rise to the legendary saying that he who holds Stirling holds Scotland herself. This strategic power made the castle the ultimate prize of countless bloody conflicts. In 1304, during the Wars of Independence, King Edward I of England besieged the rock with 13 massive engines, including the fearsome Warwolf trebuchet, which was the largest siege engine ever built. Just a decade later, the castle became the catalyst for the Battle of Bannockburn, where Robert the Bruce secured a decisive victory before dismantling the fortress to ensure the English could never use it again. Through the centuries, the walls survived the bombardment of Oliver Cromwell's Roundheads in 1651 and eventually repelled the final Jacobite siege of 1746, when Bonnie Prince Charlie's artillery proved no match for the castle's superior elevation. Beyond the smoke of war, Stirling was the beloved and flamboyant seat of the Stuart dynasty. King James IV commissioned the magnificent Great Hall, the largest of its kind in Scotland, specifically for grand parliamentary meetings and royal banquets. His son, James V, followed with the Renaissance Royal Palace, decorated with the famous Stirling heads carved into the oak ceiling. It was within these walls that an infant Mary, Queen of Scots, was crowned, and where her son, James VI, was later raised in safety. By the 18th century, the era of kings gave way to the tread of soldiers as the palace transitioned into a military barracks for the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Today, however, the castle has been meticulously restored to its former glory. From the intricate Stirling tapestries that took weavers over a decade to recreate, to the quiet Queen Anne gardens overlooking the mysterious earthworks of the King's Knot below, the castle remains a vibrant, towering testament to the very heart of Scottish history.